First of all, everybody who's here, thank you for joining in. Thank you for taking time out in the middle of the week. I know y'all are, you all have businesses to run, but thank you so much for taking time out for this very exclusive closed door webinar that we're hosting for you. In front of you right now, we have Supriya. Anybody who thinks that, if Supriya looks familiar to you, you may have seen her on Shark Tank season 2. She's had a tryst with the sharks, and she's here to share her experiences and her the way she's grown her business with you. She's of course the founder of floral jewelry brand that she owns, which is Leafy Affair. And we love it, Supriya, if you could share, maybe you could start off with telling us a little bit about your journey in a very a short gist of it. Then maybe we can get right into whatever you have planned for everybody in the room.
Sure. So, well, it's been a long journey of about 7 years now. 2016 is when I actually started. I mean, in fact, Instamojo played a big role in helping me start off. I knew when I was starting, even if it's just I had some products, I had a page. I didn't want people to ask for bank transfer. That's when I was looking for like a payment gateway, and then I saw Instamojo. I could just create links and link it to the posts in, Instagram and Facebook, and give it to people easily. So that's where the whole thing with with Instamojo started. It's been a long journey, lot of pivots, lot of experimentation, step by step, slowly understood. Back then I knew nothing much about a business. I just knew I had a great idea. I knew people would love it. And I had proof of people loving it, be it finance, the unit economics, be it the marketing, be it content, each and everything, processes, operations, manufacture.
Right.
I just took one step at a time and kept learning. And it's just a process. I think the one thing that has helped me is at all points, I was like, okay, I want to learn. And even when I first invested some of my money, I started it off. I went ahead thinking I will learn something, even if that fails, it's going to be like I'm paying for some course or something. So that's how it started off. And we've had such some of the amazing turning points, actually tipping points. One of that was Shark Tank, because the reach was amazing. Like the whole of India knows us now.
Right.
And it's been a beautiful journey so far. People love our products and aesthetics. There are certain things that we give so much importance to. Just the idea of bringing nature closer to heart. And just because you all are here, I would like to maybe show some new things that we're working on, and something very exciting is coming. So,
wow. I think it's a good time for them to place the orders right after the session.
Yes, absolutely. So started when people ask where, people usually say, I started my startup from a garage. I would say I started it from a shoebox because everything that I was experimenting with fit in a shoebox. So I had this small Allen Solly shoebox.
Right.
Starting from there to now, we are about a 2,000 square feet office, a big team, like about 12 of us. Thousands of orders, fulfilled on a monthly basis. That's where we are.
That's wonderful. Like, had this been a room, if you were physically present, we'd honestly be clapping for you, because that honestly, deserves an applause. And we personally, of course, at Instamojo, feel very emotional also, when we see you do well, with your business. It's a moment of pride even for us. That's wonderful, Supriya. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you for, all these platforms, tools, people from there, like, for example, even Instamojo. It's how nice that they're there to help the founders, and it's a community by itself where we're all helping each other. It's wonderful to have that, because entrepreneurship in itself is such a lonely journey, and people like you guys and brands or play platforms, SaaS tools, all of these it's nice. It's like, you have something to hold on to and then take the stairs. So
that's wonderful. We are very happy that we were able to play that role in your business journey.
Yes, I'm thankful and glad. So over the time, I have obviously been involved in various aspects of my business, because also I'm a solo founder. I do not have a co-founder. And of all the things, I would say marketing is my area of expertise.
Right.
Like be it content creation and the distribution and everything. And I would call it my strength. And over the period, I have learned so much because be it from the books or be it from some people who are like experts in the field, try
Correct.
and error, because there's no better teacher than trying and really learning in reality, right? So,
Correct.
so much. And so I'm very excited to share some of the tidbits that I have learned through the journey. So it's not going to be like a typical webinar, very serious. It's going to be a casual thing. I'm going to take you through some of the important aspects which I feel are like the basics, and how to use logic, and it's more like a puzzle, and how to
Correct.
put it all together to get that formula right.
Yeah.
And I would love it to be as interactive as possible so that it's helpful for everybody, right? And so shall we start?
Yep, let's get right into it. Yeah, people in the room, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to write them down in the text box at any point.
I told you it's not going to be like a typical thing, but still I'm here talking about the 4 Ps. And then I felt like, I mean, there are the 4 Ps, but I've put it in different pointers because these are just the basic things that you need to know in marketing. And these are like the puzzle pieces, right?
Right.
Yeah. So starting from the most basic would be the pricing and the product niche in itself, and figuring the target audience, the target group, because this is like the foundation of marketing. And then how do we engage with them is the content, and then the distribution of content. Then comes analytics and things like that. So these are some of the various topics that I'm going to cover today. You all are free to kind of stop me anywhere and ask me all the questions. I'm still not very sure of the kind of businesses the audience are doing and where they're at. So I'm just going to go with what I had planned for today. And yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to share mostly the funneling aspects, but the basics I'll just brush through. Okay, so see, mostly also the Instamojo team had mentioned that it's mostly people running businesses from social media. They have like amazing Instagram pages. So I would say businesses that start from the place of being a artist, right? We have a very different mindset. So I think the first thing to really crack is the mindset. The mindset of a hobbyist or an artist versus the mindset of an entrepreneur is very different. And that's where these few things come in. And one of it is the pricing. When you're an artist, you just think, okay, this is what it has taken me to make this product, let's say about 100 rupees, the cost price. And I'll be very happy if I get 200 rupees for it. That's it. We wouldn't really think of how we're going to scale it up in the future. How are we going to, kind of count for all the other, expenses that's going to come in the business. So to make it very simple, thumb rule is 4x of cost price. This ideally, as you scale, is going to give you enough budget for the marketing, enough budget to include all your fixed expenses, to your experiments and failures, because one of the biggest parts of building a business is having to face failures at every point, maybe, because only when you fail you will figure out and kind of find a way. So but you need to have that buffer of money to kind of pick up those pieces after a failure. So to make it very simple, the thumb rule is 4x. It's actually not as straightforward as it is. If you really want to do it very strategically, you will have to consider the fixed prices, variable costs, everything. But that can be done at a later stage of the business. So if it is taking 100 rupees to make the product, MRP should be anywhere above 400 rupees. All right. The next thing, it goes without saying, right? Like the product itself, it's very important. There's one very interesting concept called as the red ocean and the blue ocean market. So a product or a service that you sell can easily belong either to a red ocean or a blue ocean market. Basically, a red ocean means there are a lot of sharks, let's say, and they're eating each other. There's a lot of blood, and that's why it's red. That means it's a market where there are a lot of competitors. For example, FMCG. I mean, if we just go out, how many brands of toothbrush we see, how many brands of TVs we see, right? All of these are red ocean markets. I'm giving this term because it's very important of, you will build your strategy for the business differently for a blue ocean, differently for a red ocean. Now that is red ocean, whereas a blue ocean is where there is very little competition, something very new, niche. Like this white space in the market, you're the only player. There's not many competitors in that. And I've also put this point of customer research, because once you have figured the pricing, you figure the product, it's important to just put it out there, see what the customers say and all that. So this is like the basic brushing through so that we have like a whole flow to the entire session. Do you all have any questions with the pricing or the product USP customer research? Then I can take some questions now. I'm not able to really see raised hands or anything. Could you?
Yeah, I don't see any questions at this point. I think we can move on to the next slide for now.
All right. So then I'm going to dive into target audience and how to build the target audience and everything. Because once you have those basics, it comes to selling. You have everything, but you want to sell it. So I would like to actually take an example of one of your businesses and help you with the target audience, how to figure the customer cohort and a customer persona. Would anybody be interested to take that up as an example? Okay, I have a very interesting question here from Rashi. So, how to manage competition of the same if someone's selling the same at 2x only? Again, so that's again, it's going back to red ocean and a blue ocean business. So, if it's a red ocean business, you got to really work hard in kind of managing competition. Then, obviously, you might not have the luxury of selling it at 4x. You will have to match it up to the competitors and optimize things. Like you'll have to do extreme amount of cost cutting. And also red ocean businesses are those which will need investments because the industry is like that. So what I said holds good for a blue ocean business. So if a competitor is selling at 2x, then we'll have to do a lot of jugaad and kind of manage things within that 2x and see how to do really good, optimized, efficient marketing. Okay. Would anybody like to kind of share about their business so I can take it as an example, or should I just go with Leafy Affair? Yes, blue ocean businesses will have the first mover advantage and can charge. I won't agree with charge very low rates because it is a category or something that you're creating. You are the first mover advantage. There's also something called as the first mover disadvantage, where it's completely it's like an open canvas. Anything can happen. And you have to hold the customers, educate them and everything. And that needs a lot of budget so that it grows well. And so it only makes sense to really go with the 4x thumb rule. Okay, Nikhil, so I think I'll just take
Yeah, you can take Leafy Affair as example. And
all right.
yeah.
Okay. So before we start off with marketing, like we have the product and everything, multiple customers, multiple types of personas can be our customers, right? It could be for Leafy Affair. It could be a guy who is maybe 34 years old who wants to give this to his wife on his anniversary. It could be a 20-year-old girl who's a college kid who likes to wear this and make a statement, right? It could also be anybody. I mean, it could be somebody from the LGBTQ. It could be somebody whose house was in the hills before, but later they moved to the city, so they're such a nature person. So it could be different. So each business will have different customer cohorts for sure. So the first thing is to kind of figure out these cohorts, right? It might be multiple, it might be one. But as a first step, figure out one customer cohort to make things simpler and to reach out to that cohort. And then we move on how to kind of expand the business, reach to multiple cohorts and market it to them and get that business. So let's just say we will first talk about a cohort, which is young audience, young working people in the age of 21 to 28. That's the age bracket. And it could be both men and women, people who like to experiment, things like that. So if I'm taking this narrow cohort, next, this is something that you can just take your books and pens and really do it with me. There's something called as the ideal customer persona. So out of this age group, this one customer cohort that I'm taking, I would like to detail an actual person. Okay. I think you would have read this whole exercise or activity in multiple books. They teach you this also in an MBA course, and it doesn't make sense. You're thinking, why do I have to make one customer's persona? But how does it make sense? Because it's one, but I want to reach out to a lot of people. I'll tell you why it makes sense, because this one ideal customer persona that you create, you're going to hold that as a base, and there's going to be 1,000 people who are similar to ideal this persona, 1,000 or lakh of people. So this whole activity just gives you a direction of how to reach, how to go from 0 to 1, how to get that first customer, how to get the first 10 customers, first 100, and then you reach the 1,000. If you think of all the 1,000, you don't know where to go for the first step. You'll be stuck. So that's when we make the ideal customer persona. So I'm just taking you through this. Let's talk about, let's say, a 24-year girl. Actually, guys, I would really love this to be interactive. If you could unmute Nikhil, and let's create an ideal customer persona together. Would that be possible? Right. All right. So I want you guys to think in Leafy Affair perspective, let's say, think of one person that who would be a customer, and you can tell me everything about him or her, like starting from age to what they do and things like that. So what would it be? Would it be a male or a female? Anything that you can think of.
Wait, is this question directed to me or anybody in
No, anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought we'll just make it a very interactive thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Anybody from the audience would want to participate?
Am I going in the right path? Like, is this something that you would like to know, or are there things that you would like to know? Anything about marketing that I would love to answer? I mean, I really want this 40 minutes to kind of be helpful, at least for one person out there to take something back. Well, an ideal customer persona, if I'm just thinking, then I would think of like maybe like a 24 or 25-year-old girl. She started working, she has like money, she has the buying capacity, and she studied in very fun colleges. So she's like a fun person. See, I know all of these are like sounding like judgments about a person, but let's be honest, we are all always judging. Like my yoga teacher says, if you just ate something and said, oh, this food was really yum, that means you're judging the food. So, but it's very important to be like, if you have to do the right marketing, you have to judge, right? So let's say this person reads books. She really likes old, like beautiful English novels. She likes Harry Potter. And then she likes to go out and eat with her friends. She goes to cafes. She likes aesthetics. Okay. And basically, I think I'm just telling about myself, what I was 4-year-old, because I would really be the best customer for Leafy Affair. If Leafy Affair was started by somebody else, my persona would totally love to kind of buy something from Leafy Affair. And I was all of these things. I love aesthetics, da 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 da. So once you kind of draw your ideal customer persona, you need to figure out what is this person's interest other than being a jewelry person. Like I said, for example, she reads books. She really loves books. She watches Harry Potter. She goes to cafes with her friends on the weekend. What are the other things to do? Is this person somebody who kind of visits us, takes part in stand-up comedy shows or goes to the mall for movies? This is one kind of cohort. To make it more understandable, let me talk to you about another example. Let's say there's a product for moms. Okay, moms only, moms of babies who are just like 6 months to 7 months or 10 months. So then an ideal customer persona would be like a mother who gave birth and mostly her time is with the baby. And then I think this woman would spend a lot of time on social media also because she's on a break, and like the little time that she gets, maybe she's just spending reading a lot. New mothers do a lot of research. They just follow a lot of these mom influencers, taking in all the information, seeing what all baby brands are present, etc., etc. So once you have this persona, you know what are their interests. My second thing that I've mentioned is where do they spend the time, and also when you know a persona and you have a product and you've created a persona, that means your product actually solves one of their problems, and that's what you're that's why your product is a good solution for their problem. So what are their problems? Once you have all of this figured out, it's very simple to show them the right content at the right place. That is, for example, if I'm somebody who visits a bookstore, imagine I am also a person who loves travel, but me as a personality, I like reading books and I go to Blossoms or a bookstore. Sorry, Blossoms is a famous bookstore in Bangalore, if you all don't know. And there's like this poster of a traveling thing, and it's loud on my face. And I already like that. And this information about the trip was shown to me. And I'm very likely, about 80% likely to know more about it, right? Versus putting a trip wala poster in a hospital, right? There people are just tense and they're looking for, I don't know, they're there for some health problem. So it won't make sense for you to market some travel thing over at a hospital. So this is why finding the target audience is very important. So now once you have all of the aspects of who your audience are, and you have your cohort, like this one cohort, most people, I think I see a raised hand. Chaya, you have a question?
Yeah, so I would want to go 2 slides back actually.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so you mentioned over here about the customer research bit. As a very new business, like who's just started up or still trying to get hold of stuff as to how do we go about and what to do about. So when you say customer research, exactly how do we go about it as a new business? I might be somebody who has no background of coming from a business background, or no backing at all, where I have no understanding of how things work. So how do we exactly go about for the customer research? Because like you just mentioned, right?
Yeah.
When you started Leafy Affair,
right.
Your actual the persona that you mentioned was exactly what you are. We generally deal in things and we start doing things which we like, and we know that people in our age group enjoy doing this, and we have seen used cases around us. So in that case, how do we go about with the customer research bit?
All right. So very fair question. When the term customer research is used, actually, it sounds like a very big term. It's pretty overwhelming because you have customer research firms and projects and all that. So let me break it in very simple words. There are two, in the very beginning of your business, there are two kinds of customer research you do. One before you have the actual product. One is after you have the product. You know it, this is going to work, but you have to test it. So before the product, when I started Leafy Affair, for example, first thing is there is a problem solution fit that we need to find. We think, okay, a lot of people are facing this problem and I have a solution. So that's why it makes a great business idea. But this is our understanding. As you said, most of us think about ourselves and maybe our friends, and we all think, oh, this is a big problem. But is this actually a big problem? So the first thing would be to find the problem solution fit is to, let's say you just take 2 days out, okay, and talk to random strangers or friends, ask people to introduce whoever falls in that cohort. Like you have an hypothesis of mothers of this aged babies are my actual customers. Then find those mothers. It's very easy. It's not very difficult. You can find these people on Instagram pages as followers. You can find these people on groups on LinkedIn. You can find them in your own circle. It's okay. Or you can find them in a first cry store, right? Just go stand near there. take some time out. See, all these things require getting out of the comfort zone, but just talk to them 3-4 questions just to make sure whatever hypothesis that you have thought of is right or not. If it is right, then whatever you have figured is right, then you go ahead and make the product. If it is not, then you might require to pivot a little. Sometimes you'll be surprised, you'll think something's a problem, and then you'll see some other bigger thing is a problem and you have a solution for it. You never really thought about it.
Yeah.
Right? It's very natural. And once you have the product, the customer research would be testing. Very simple. Giving some free samples or giving some products or just showing the product, if it's some apparel or something to do with fashion, and taking opinions from people. What do they like about it? How much are they willing to pay for it? What do they not like about it? Do they have some doubts? Do they have some trust issues about this product? Where would they use it? So again, you make a hypothesis to sell to somebody that, hey, this you can use it as an anklet. But somebody else says, I like this as a bracelet. I mean, just top of my head example. So you kind of just test that hypothesis. It could be as simple as going to your own circle and checking. Doesn't have to be like big firm or like a big project.
Yeah.
Did this answer your question?
Yes, it did. I guess the biggest takeaway over here, I would say, is that we need to get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And we are okay to talking to people who are probably not even from our circle, but then because talking to people in our circle is easier.
Yeah.
While to people outside our circle is something which we are not very comfortable to do.
True. And also any of the big things, big terms that appears in business, they're actually not that big. They're just small things with common sense. You can do the same customer research by spending lakhs of rupees, or you can do the same customer research spending 0 rupees. So that's another thing.
Good. Let's move ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I just finished the target audience. Now this is a very different topic. This is something, okay, so when you're cooking, you have various ingredients. Sometimes with the ingredients, you have to make 2-3 ingredients. Like for a chapati, you need to make the dough first and then you make the chapati, right? So let's say this is like one part of the dough. Now content, you would see most marketing experts, everybody talk about marketing funnel, the top of the funnel, middle, bottom. But this is content funneling. This is like so beautiful. If you apply this, you will never go wrong in marketing. So there are like these 4 things, the IDA funnel. Instead of awareness, the first one, I would call it attention. Okay. So attention, interest, desire, and action. So now let me break content. There are just 3 or 4 forms of content that we do. It can be an article. It can be a post, like just pictures, visual pictures in the form of a carousel or a single image. And then there are videos. Of course, there are also audios if it's a podcast. So we have 4 different forms of content. But all of this content, whatever duration they are, whatever size they are, whatever length of carousel, whatever length of video, they get broken into 4 parts. That is the IDA, which is the attention, interest, desire, and action. Okay. So let's say it's a video of a minute. Okay. If it's a video of 1 minute, the first 3 seconds becomes the first A, attention. And then the next 20 to 30 seconds, interest. Next 20 to 30 seconds, desire. 20 seconds, desire. And then last 5 seconds, action. Okay. Always the first few seconds, last few seconds are the attention and action. The remaining majority of the content will talk about interest and desire. If it is a carousel post, the first slide will be attention, next 3 slides interest, next 4 slides desire, last slide action. Okay, so that's how you break it. So when you're creating content, no matter what form it is, be it a podcast, anything, you need to know that the first 2-3 seconds are crucial. That is called as the attention. From the IDA funnel, that means it needs to grab the attention. Very crucial, because only then they will kind of engage with the rest of the content. If you're scrolling through Instagram, if that first slide is interesting, then you stop and kind of scroll to the right to see what the carousel is about. If you're scrolling through Instagram, looking at a reel, the first 2 seconds are enough to determine whether you're interested to watch the reel further or you want to pass, right? So that part is called attention. Now, the next big part is interest. It needs to create an interest. That's where, again, I told you the target, the ideal customer persona, creating that is so important, because only then you know what these people are interested in. We're only interested to target those people. That means whatever their interest is, you need to kind of fit that into your content piece. And also, interest is something just creates interest, but you don't give away everything. And the next stage is where you make them feel like they need it. They need to desire this thing that you're showing them, right? They want to know more. That would be the third part of the content. And you always leave them with something at the end, an action, visit the website or click on the subscribe button or click on the like button or any of that. So now this using IDA, having a customer persona, I'll just go to the next slide also, which talks about the marketing funnel. And using these three parts together, if you understand like the basic logic, you have cracked marketing. So before you all ask me any questions, I'm going to go to this next slide to just kind of connect the pieces. So this is a marketing funnel, let's say. We break usually a marketing funnel. Like I'm going to make it very simple as top, middle, and bottom. TOF means top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. So that means if you give leaflets to 1,000 people, about 1,000 people are interested in seeing what this is. All of those people who have taken the leaflet, they belong to the group TOF, top of the funnel. Out of all of these 1,000 people whom we've given to leaflet, about 500 of them are just going to put it in the dustbin. They won't even look at the leaflet. Maybe there are like about 300-400 who get, who kind of get a bit attracted and they read about it. If they read about it, they get more information. That action is called them moving from one part of the funnel to the other part. That means they have now moved to middle of the funnel. They'll read it. There might be people who've read it and half of those people don't like what they read. They're not interested. It's not for them. But there might be about 150 people who will take an action after reading the content in the leaflet. They will take their phone and give a call. They will check the website. They will scan a QR code, something. So that means they have moved to the bottom of the funnel. Here's where they make a decision. And a lot of people have, after looking at the price and after looking at all of the things that it has to offer, they might just leave again. But there would be 1 or 2 people or 10 of them who will actually make a payment and buy the thing that you're showing. That means they have gone through a full funnel journey. And this whole journey of a customer from the top to the bottom is called as the customer journey. Now, why is it so important is when you're marketing, any kind of cohort of people as such, you want to bring them through the whole customer journey to the bottom of the funnel. Now, if it is a new brand, we need to work a lot on awareness. We cannot think about selling immediately. So we will only talk about the TOF, which is the top of the funnel. Now, for top of the funnel, I will go back to the content funnel. I need to create content pieces to the top of the funnel, meaning I will grab like a big amount of people, like 1,000 people. My only aim is for this piece of content, I need to make the people go from top of the funnel to the middle of the funnel. That's it. The goal of it is just to get them interested, to see our website, to see our anything, to speak to us, to know more about it. Okay, that's the only goal of this content piece. Now, this content, I'll again break it into pieces as IDA, which I just mentioned, and kind of create that piece and give it to people in the TOF. So this is how you can create different content in a very strategic manner for different funnel, different groups of audiences in different funnels. So slowly you get them to the end of the funnel. Okay. So this is like the main piece of marketing, I would say, because content is like a very important piece of marketing, a very important pillar. Do you all have any doubts with this?
Supriya, I think we have a question here. I think they're unable to unmute themselves, so they've typed it here. The question is from Vishnu. He's basically asking you
Yeah.
that there's so much content to manage and there's so many different platforms. So do you manage your content by yourself, or an agency does it for you, or how do you go about that?
Yeah. So see, it's very overwhelming. You have so many platforms to manage. But when you just start off, you will definitely find one or two platforms that works best for you. If I am somebody who is having products for working professionals, then I would take LinkedIn very seriously, right? But me being a jewelry brand, I take Instagram very seriously. So I would first crack that. To be very honest, when I started, I used to manage it myself, but now I have a team. I have tried agencies, freelancers, interns, everything. But this is something that you need to see what works for you the best. I think each business is different, each brand and its requirements are very different. But for me, right now at this point, it is work to have a team. And I think about like the whole of the salary budgets that we give, about 30-40% of it go into content in itself. That's the kind of importance we give for our brand, because without content you cannot build a brand. And what kind of content have you seen work well? I think it has to be a mix of things. Again, the cohort of my audience, who are all my followers, they follow us for specific things which we have figured. They follow us for the aesthetics, they follow us for uniqueness, they follow us because they want to see what new thing we've come up with, and they know we're creative. So that means being creative with our content is super important, and both funny and informational. See, funny definitely works. If you have a puppy or a cat in your content piece, definitely works. Informational is boring, but it again comes back to how you can make that informational thing very creative. You can make a very creative, fun reel where that information is also imbibed. So it's going to be like an amalgamation of things. So yeah, I would just say that.
Supriya, I have a question which is sort of related to that.
Mhm.
So, there's so many platforms, so many, like even within, let's say you said you focus only on Instagram for Leafy Affair, right?
Yeah.
Even Instagram in nature, it keeps changing literally probably every month. They come out with a new feature, or, there's a new kind of a trend that, like let's say if you've been working on a particular uh, trend that is, which everybody is making reels on or posting pictures on. If you delay it by even a week, you're probably not going to cut it, and people are not going to see it because there's another new trend that particular week. So my question basically is, as an entrepreneur who also has so many other things to manage,
Right.
is there a way that you also try to keep up with this, even if you want to help your social team or your intern or somebody else, or do you just sort of leave it to them and you make sure that your particular business messaging is very clear to your social intern, basically because if you're the one managing everything, if you're managing your own social presence, then it's easier for you to understand that, okay, this is working for me, this is trending
Right.
right now, and this is who my audience is. And also making sure that your TG only is interacting or engaging with your content, because you might be making good content, and the content might be good in general, and your
Yeah, but it
direct
might
TG.
not be your TG. I
Yeah.
understand. See, I think it's very important for the founder to first know what is my TG, what is the kind of content that needs to go. I mean, what is the content that will interest my TG? And once you have that cracked, see, most founders have it cracked in the very beginning, they're very clear. But there are times where the founder is not clear. So in the beginning, you'll have to do some experimentation and then figure it out.
Right.
But no matter what, once you have figured that out, make sure that clarity is passed on to whoever it is managing your interns or your agency, because that will give them the baseline to stick to. And if you're just starting, I would really suggest getting interns for this piece, Let them know the kind of language that you want to put out there, the kind of genre of content that you want to put out there. And they can keep seeing. So trends, right? You said every week the trends are changing and the algorithm is changing. But every week, the only job of the intern is to take care of your social media page. That means they're looking at trends and they know what is the information to be put out from your brand. What do they need to sell? What are their goals? Like maybe I would say this month, I just want you to focus on getting new followers. Or I might say the next month, hey, I want you to focus on content where the existing followers are going to buy or are going to attempt to visit our website, right? So it's again very goal oriented thing. And once you have that, their only job is to look at trends and they need to creatively come up with ideas how they mix it up. Like a reel, whatever the trend is, you need to see how to plug your brand in. That's the most important thing. If you plug it in and use the AIDA funnel concept, then you will have good results for sure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally does. Yeah.
So just moving forward, yeah, basically I just want to touch base. I feel funneling, merging all these 2, 3 funnels and you have the logic. So you can easily make somebody buy who's already in a BOF, bottom of the funnel, by making a right content about why a product is priced at this rate. A lot of people might drop off from MOF and don't go to BOF looking at the price. So you address those concerns in BOF content. And a lot of people might drop off because they don't know information about the products. That is a very MOF behavior. So you create content specific to MOF. Or just to get people interested, you create TOF content. So at each stage, you know exactly what to do and they will go through the funnel. Having said this, not all customers are your customers. Okay, so that's another thing. Any key pointers for BOF? Well, each brand again, if people are dropping off at BOF, the reasons will be specific to the brand. There might be trust issues, maybe something very new people don't know about, or they don't know anybody who's used it. They might have the same problem. They're interested in the product. They see that this can be a solution, but they don't want to buy because they've not seen anybody use it. Then showing customer feedback to such people, showing success stories to such people. These are all proper BOF content. You will see those screenshots of WhatsApp conversations with customers. They're all BOF content. Any questions? Any more questions? Yes, social proof is a good BOF content. Again, depending on your brand. Rakesh has raised his hand.
Yeah, Rakesh, are you able to unmute?
I think he is.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, Supriya. It was nice to keep looking at you and your products. I was just hovering over your Instagram thing and it is very nice. So I am an artist. Like I feel I can start on a portrait-based art category stuffs. So I had a couple of doubts in me, but I think most of the things you have already covered. So I had a very small question. If you have time, can you just elaborate this?
Yeah, sure.
So basically, the first thing I would like to know that I had a question about the pricing. I think you have completely explained that. So that's fine. I have one more thing. Just can you give me a second? I think I can just make. So regarding pricing only, so I wanted to ask like if I'm making any portrait for anyone, probably it's a handmade thing, right? Now, if I want to sell that to someone, so I get a couple of questions asking me that, why are you charging this much? Or probably, you if you are handmade painting or handmaking things, why you are charging this? So there's always a pricing high wala issue, or I get these questions a lot. I'm probably a beginner person, so I really don't have any idea or how to go proceed with this.
Yeah.
But if you just like give me some idea, when I
Sure.
get questions, how do I handle this?
Yeah. So for when we're doing some products which is out there in the market, that's actually a very good place. Having competitors is healthy because you get a lot of information of why something is priced at a certain way. So I would say for you, you said portraits, right? And obviously there would be a few other artists who are doing portraits. So now I think the first step would be to figure out how much all of these people are charging for their portraits, be it the size or the kind of style or what is their USP. I think each artist have their own kind of X factor and they put that in their work, right? And be a customer for them, right? Just ask them, hey, why have you priced this so much? They will give you points. And maybe these are things you already know. Maybe it's because it takes a certain number of hours to make it. It takes certain time, and creativity is not something that you can mass produce. Like you cannot think creatively all the time. You need certain, it's limited, right?
Yeah.
These things. So then you will figure how you're different from these artists. Maybe there's an artist who sells for cheaper. Okay, if we take like a graph, like cheaper, lower in the price, and also the quality is here, right? And then if you just place each of these artists in that graph of price and quality and the creativity, you'll see each person is at different places. Now you got to see where you want to place yourself. You want to place it as super high quality, super creative, and medium priced, or very expensive, but the quality is less. So there's this graph of market spacing where you take 2-3 important qualities, like I said, pricing and creativity. Pricing, x-axis and y-axis creativity. And if you compare the two, you will know where you stand, and it will be very easy for you to explain it as well. Because it's a valid question. It happens even with us because our paperweights are very expensive. It's like about 3K, whereas our jewelry is like 1K. So we came up with a very nice way of giving them the story. We say out of every 100 flowers that's preserved for this, only 20 is successful. Out of 20 pieces, 20 flowers that are preserved, only 2 of them gets made into the paperweight. So, it's such a nice way to let them know that it is special and why they pay so much money. So I think that research and that comparison will definitely help you out.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Supriya. Thank you so much for this insight.
Yeah. Nikhil?
Supriya, I think we have a very, it's a very important question.
Organic marketing, no, it's not dead at all, because if you see things that actually go viral in the marketing space, see, a lot of things go viral. Things that are organic content where there is nothing to sell, they go viral, right? But there is a very good way of marketing content also to go viral that happens, and that is totally organic. So again, when you include the funnel in your content and you know exactly what you want out of it, and you're targeting the right people, organic marketing totally works. In fact, we at Leafy Affair have had quite a few reels that have gone viral by itself, especially also during Shark Tank time, but which has helped us a lot. So organic marketing is not dead, but spending on marketing is important. It goes side by side. So you start spending and you also start doing good content. There will come a time where a lot of people know about it, and you don't have to spend more. For example, Shark Tank activity for me was organic marketing. I mean, I had to put in a lot of effort, but there was not much money involved. It was the best bet. Till now, I've never done such marketing by paying anywhere. So that's my answer to this.
That's amazing. I just have one overarching question to that, Supriya. Do you also think that it depends on the platform itself? Because I know Instagram, for that matter, is if you're advertising on Meta, you have a higher chance of visibility on Instagram. That's what people say. Of course, there's
there are a lot of myths, guys.
Yeah.
The base rule of algorithm is they first, the algorithm shows you a piece of content to a few people. Based on their reaction, it shows to more people. If the first set of people are not looking at it, they're just passing it off because the content is bad, then algorithm automatically chooses some other content. Now, also when you're, for example, boosting posts, it's always recommended that something with a high number of likes, if you boost, you do well, even in ads. Even in ads, the algorithm works. It's not like just because you've paid, it shows more people.
Yeah.
It might show, but then you need to have results because you're paying for this. So that will only happen if the content is kind of engaging. So if a reel that is already done super well for you, like let's say it's got 100K views, you make that an ad.
Right.
It's just going to show more and more people, and based on the reaction, show even more people. That's how some ads have really good results, some don't have. I mean, then if that's the case, if I'm paying for an ad, I should get such amazing returns for every ad that I do, right?
That is true. Supriya, the other thing to this, like one common question among small business owners, of course, when they're trying to market their business is, of course, influencer marketing, right?
Yeah.
Because there's one way, of course, you'd want to spend money on ads, but there's another very viable and trusted way of advertising your content is via influencers. But let's say you're a small business and you're just starting out and you don't really have the budget to pay influencers, because of course they don't exactly charge less in this day and age in 2023. So you have various micro and
Yes. See, when I started off also initially, this thing was not even a term called influencer marketing. I just knew certain people who had a lot of followers and people loved what they had to talk about. And I went to them and did like a collaboration. But I feel as much as it is important for a business at the beginning to do influencer collaborations, I feel right now in this day and age, influencer marketing is something that I don't believe in. We don't do it very actively, if you see also. Maybe selective one or two here and there, but we focus on quality. But then there are some brands that do immense amount of influencer marketing, hundreds of them, nano influencers, just give them the content. But I don't think that leads anywhere. They don't do enough justice. And you pay. It's just a lot of pain because you also give the product, you also pay them, you're getting nothing back. So me personally, I'm not a big fan of influencer marketing, but I would say pick one or two very genuine influencers in a month. Talk to them, form that relationship and see how very genuinely you can give them something and they can give you something. It has to be a win-win.
Correct.
That will work magic.
Amazing. Yeah, that does make sense. There's one last question, Supriya, and then I guess we can wrap up because we're actually beyond time at this point. How many partners do you have when it comes to packaging and shipping?
I just have one each, and shipping I have multiple, obviously, because this is a very logistical operation question.
Right.
But I would just suggest, I don't know where this question is coming from, but there's no ideal rule. You need to have this many packaging partners. You need to have this many shipping. See, our entire ops, it happens in our own office, packaging, order management, and shipping out. The logistics, any courier, they just come pick it up and they deliver.
Right.
That's what we have outsourced. We have not outsourced packaging. I know there's a lot of warehousing that happens. I think Shiprocket has its own warehousing.
Yeah,
I have not used them, so I might not be the right person to talk about it. But ops also, it's very nice to keep that control within your own office, like, within your own firm, because you know what's going out. It's easy to minimize the mistakes and give a better customer service.
Right. Awesome. I hope that answers your question, Srinu. Cool. So I guess that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Supriya. Thank you so much for doing this for us. And everybody watching us right now, and also everybody will be watching us later when we re-upload this video. Please do go check out Leafy Affair, check out their website and check out their Instagram. They've got really cool stuff, which is extremely pretty. Everybody who's watched the video from the beginning, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Supriya. It was lovely speaking with you.
Thank you, Nikhil, and thank you for the entire Instamojo team for keep calling me in for these things. It's absolute fun to share whatever knowledge or whatever information I can. I hope it helps somebody, at least in a little bit. So I had very good fun doing this, and thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
See you guys. See you, everybody.